Okay. All right. So I think we can begin this interview. First of all, thank you so much for joining this call. And I would like to introduce myself. My name is Shruti Agrawal. I am an HR lead in Team Chapter. And today, I am very honored to, just take an interview call and, just being there because I went through your account and I was like, these people are so inspiring at such a young age. You are doing amazing job. But before starting the call, first of all, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself separately or individually so that people can know.
Yeah. So my name is Kuhu Baji. I'm 17 years old and I'm one of the three co-founders of Period Talk.
I'm Nikki Morthy. I'm also 17. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the three co-founders. We all live in the greater Boston area.
Hi, I'm Akshika Chiwade. I'm also 17 and use the pronouns she, her. I'm a senior in high school and will be going to Cornell next year for college.
Wonderful. First of all, congratulations for Colonel.
Thank you.
Okay. So I just want to know, like, what was the inspiration behind starting the organization? Like, how did you know that, you want to do something for this cause?
Yeah, so we all three came together for the first time through an entrepreneurship competition. It's called TYE and it's based in Boston. And basically, in this competition, we were told to pick a bug or a passion, which is how they framed it, and translate that into some sort of startup or company. So the three of us, as 14, 15-year-olds in high school, had much experience with the stigma and shame that surrounds menstruation. And that was kind of our immediate thought of what we wanted to do and what we wanted to target. Specifically, we wanted to kind of see how we could ideate and redesign the standard sanitary pad that hadn't been fundamentally improved for almost decades or centuries at that point, because we felt as though for younger teenagers, for younger menstruators who had just begun their periods and had just begun menstruating, there was very little education and very little accessibility to products that were comfortable and sustainable and inclusive for everyone. And so from that point onwards, we've just been working to kind of target that mission of expanding the education aspect, but also increasing the accessibility to quality products and trying to redesign those as well.
Wonderful. I would also like to know because you are working on menstruation as a topic or periods as a topic. So, do you believe that periods is still a taboo in the year 2022, or is it not? So, what's happening around that?
We would definitely say that it is. We've experienced a lot within our own communities, our own schools, and our cultures outside of school. And we know that it's a really prevalent issue right now because we've seen it play out. So we do a lot of work on social media. And when we started posting on social media, we would get a lot of comments saying you shouldn't really be talking this openly about this issue, or like it's really disgusting and it's only for women. Why are you trying to target anybody who doesn't identify as female? So we've definitely seen it happen right in the present, and that's something that we're trying to combat through a lot of our social work and our product as well.
I think in fact I also wanted to ask you about these things because when I was going through your Instagram page, I observed that you people also do the chapter programs, right? You people started the chapter programs and even in different cities. So I was wondering, like, how do you manage this a lot, and how do you just lead these programs and what is happening there, because it is also important there are some negative points as well. So how do you keep in check with all these people who are into this program?
Yeah, so the chapter program is the thing that I focus on. I'm lucky that Nikki and Akshika have taken the reins on the other side of our company. But for the chapter program, as Nikki said, from social media, we saw that living in the United States, we have our own set of experiences and problems with menstrual shame. But despite the language barriers and the time zone differences, these problems are, similar across the globe. And they're something that are experienced by menstruators in every single city and town and village and, country, in so many different places. And so we kind of started off with this chapter program with the intention of supporting young people like ourselves who are in, middle school, high school, or college, who are very interested in initiating these important conversations and dialogues surrounding menstruation, but don't have the means to do so and just need a little bit of extra support. And what we do is, we try to heavily market it through social media, and we meet with these chapter leaders individually in several locations. Right now we're in 25, we have 25 chapters in 8 countries. So we meet with them and we just try to see how they can make a positive impact in their community, whether that means, providing menstrual products in their school bathrooms, or working with, local organizations to provide these products for homelessness shelters and things like that. Each of them are trying to, approach the issue in their own way, but they're all doing really important work.
And Kuhu actually meets with almost all of them every single week. So she takes a lot of time in doing that, and we're really proud of the work that they're doing. And it's a big time responsibility, but we are super excited to see all the progress that the chapters are making.
I'm pleasure to hear that. I hope that we can also start something in India as well, because we need something like that in India. At least it is 2022.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, when because you people talk about a lot of period in general and myths and facts. What are the myths and what are facts? So I was just wondering that there are some myths around the world or globe. So have you come across any weird myths about periods, across the world or something?
That's a good question. I think probably the biggest one is, this is like a little bit more like a serious one rather than like a funny myth, but we had always been told that menstruation was just for women, and that's something that we believed for so long. And when we started posting on social media, we saw that a lot of the comments were talking about how they don't identify as female, but they still have menstruation. So a lot of these menstrual product companies who only target women in their packaging, in their marketing, it can cause a lot of gender dysphoria for people who don't identify as female. So that's something that we hadn't really encountered until we launched on social media, and it's something that we're really passionate about working towards, because it affects a lot of people across the world. Do you guys have any others? That's the only one I could think of.
Well, there are a lot of things that have a lot of cultural background to them. So they're like with specific products, for example, in India, a lot we hear the myth that using like a tampon or something that's an invasive product, what is what we call it, has a certain taboo on its own beyond the taboo that already exists around menstruation, because people consider it to be taking away your virginity, things like that. There are a lot of these like cultural preferences that have been ingrained. So we're also trying to work on that and just normalize all products and all conversations surrounding menstruation.
Akshika, do you have anything? Or
I don't have anything in particular, but I think I do remember reading somewhere that in Bolivia, if I'm not wrong, you can't really hold babies when you're on your period, because they believe that will make the baby sick. So in a way, like periods are kind of like a transmittable disease. So I don't think it's like too funny, but I just think it's like really weird that there's so much taboo and stigma and impurity associated with just a simple biological process.
I think in India it has. So like when someone who is menstruating, like they are not allowed to go to temples or kitchen. Although we personally did not believe it, but like, so when I talked to my mother told that it is not like that. It's just because in when they were menstruating, so during, because housewives have to do a lot of things, and at that time men were kind of, we were living in men's world, something like that. So they did not do anything. So that is why, so those 3 days were given to that woman so that they can just completely rest and cannot do anything. I'm like, okay. So basically it was for women's cause, but like there are some people who have just kind of mold it in a wrong way.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot with just any social issue in general. They'll take one thing and twist it into something else to fit their agenda.
Yeah, actually, I haven't heard that reasoning before, and that's really insightful because we've had those experiences with not being allowed in temples when we visit India. We always thought it was something surrounding the fact that periods are seen as being impure, and I think that it has molded into a lot of people do see it like that, but it may have different roots, which is cool to learn about.
Um, I also want to know because like now we are into pandemic. So has this pandemic affected your working style or your organization in general?
I would say that as Kuhu had explained earlier, we met through a pitch competition program thing. And towards the end of the program, the pandemic started, so we started having meetings online. Um, I think that online has actually increased our efficiency because we live in different towns. Kuhu and Nikki live in the same one, but I live about 20-25 minutes away. So meeting almost every single day as we do while like in person would be very impossible, and it would be kind of not utilizing our time efficiently. So I think being able to um, meet online almost every day has given us the courage to go out and just message random people online for help and set up meetings with people from literally all over the country and all over the world. I think the pandemic has actually increased our work ethic.
Yeah, the
Yeah, and we
premise.
like to.
Sorry, I was just
Oh,
saying the
sorry.
premise is just like a lot of Zoom calls.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, like we often joke that we spend upwards of like 2-3 hours together every week, but we've really only met in person, like all three of us, a handful of times in the last 2 years.
Good. Amazing. Like something I said something positive about pandemic. Otherwise, we just hear that oh, pandemic has just affected us negatively. So you have done so many projects and campaigns, probably on Instagram or apart from social media in general. So, do you have any favorite campaigns, or I think if you can answer individually, like which campaigns have been your favorite?
Yeah, I can start off. So like I said, I spend the majority of my time working with the chapters. And that's just been a lot of outreach through TikTok or Instagram, talking to younger followers who might be interested. But that's been the most rewarding part of this entire startup for me. All of the time we've spent on this has really shown itself when I see 11, 12-year-olds getting on these calls and being so excited about the possibility of making a positive impact in their local communities. I think that that's the most important thing that we've been able to do. Obviously we've had some success in other places as well, but that's been the area for me personally where I've been able to see a direct positive impact, and really see some of these younger menstruators that with our support have been able to blossom and feel really comfortable talking about issues that are generally not super comfortable to talk about.
I would say that's one of the biggest ones for me as well. I know when we first had this idea, we were it was like during February break or something. We were so excited to get started on it, and we had like calls for hours every day trying to write the handbooks and make training videos for chapters, for leaders who want to start their own chapter. And then we started doing outreach and finding new methods of marketing. So it's taught us a lot as well about how to kind of push a campaign and start a new project. And it's been something that we're so excited about. So that momentum has really showed. And then another thing, I know I've touched on this a few times already, but the campaign for transgender rights and transgender inclusivity in marketing has been really inspiring for me, because I know when we post on TikTok and we just like a simple video saying transgender humans who menstruate are included in the overall category of people who menstruate, and we get so many comments saying thank you and thank you for addressing this issue, and they haven't seen people address it before. So that's been kind of really heartwarming and really enlightening to see how many people we can reach with just a small statement.
Akshika, if you can also answer, like, what is your favorite campaign?
I don't really have much to add on besides what Kuhu and Nikki said, but I handle most of our product related part of the business, and I am not fully as immersed in our marketing, although I am involved and I made some early TikToks along with Nikki and Kuhu. Um, but basically, in terms of our product, we kind of redesigned the traditional sanitary pad to have a new innovative mechanism for disposal. Because when we were doing initial customer research and surveys and such, we found out that a lot of people felt that it was really, they felt really unhygienic and unsafe handling menstrual fluid when it was time to throw away their pads. So we came up with a new design. We filed for a US provisional utility patent for it. And we're currently in the process of working on a formal non-provisional utility patent for it. I do a lot of the prototyping at home. I've been researching materials to make it environmentally friendly and biodegradable. So that's really the biggest part of what I do for our company.
Right. It's wonderful that how you have delegated all the tasks according to their skills, and it's wonderful to hear that. I also want to know that, although I would really touch a serious topic, so Scotland as a country, they have just started, to uh, basically to periods, as in, so earlier periods used to be an essential product there, but now they have started, to make period products as a free product. So do you think that all governments should do that, or do you feel that it can only happen in Scotland?
Yeah, I think that's a really important issue that isn't often discussed. Obviously, we're a for-profit venture, so we are trying to redesign products that are a little bit more advanced in terms of the sustainability aspect and also the design of them themselves. But a big part of our actual program is getting these free products. And I would definitely say that the accessibility aspect needs to be improved across the board. In the United States specifically, poverty is obviously a huge issue in some of our urban areas, but specifically period poverty is something that's very rarely addressed, because so many families don't have the means to buy some of the products that they need. In certain states in the United States, like Mississippi is one that comes to mind. They're like almost a fifth of people under the poverty line just don't have any access whatsoever to period products, because the support that they do receive from the government doesn't go towards getting a pad or a tampon for the menstruators that might be in that family. So for people like that who don't have any accessibility at this point, having free products in public restrooms or other facilities would be extremely beneficial for them and would definitely reduce the stress and anxiety that surrounds getting a period every single month. So I think, like what you said, certain countries that are taking those steps to make improvements like that are really doing a great job and need to be kind of the leaders for the rest of us.
All right. So I think I do not have any more questions, but like I just want to know, how can people know more about you or reach out to you, or if they, because listening to you, I also wanted to somehow contribute to this cause, because this is such an incredible cause. So like, how can people join to your organization, or is there any opening or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's multiple ways to do that. Sorry, Nikki.
Go ahead.
But people can reach out to us through our Instagram account, which is at Let's Period Talk. And we also have a website that Kuhu created for us, letsperiodtalk.com. And over there, you can find more ways to contribute to our organization, such as creating a chapter or just donating to us. And anyone can reach out to us at any point in time, and we'll be more than happy to get to know about your experiences and figure out how we can work together to make a difference.
Yeah. And if you're looking to just sort of send like a direct message, you can also contact us through our email, which is periodpouchinfo@gmail.com, and that should be listed on our website as well. So just all of our contact should be on there. If you want to just send us any sort of message or start your own chapter, which would be a much bigger step, would really encourage you to.
Wonderful. So, do you have any last messages to all the people, who wants to be or who wants to learn more about periods in general? Or, like, what is your thoughts on it?
I think, speaking from personal experience, it will be very awkward to work with it, think about it, research it. Initially, like it was definitely awkward for me. My family isn't overly traditional, but it was just like something that I didn't like honestly talk about much with my parents. But now it's like a dinner table conversation where I explain stuff about it. Like we're all getting educated together. And I think if you're brave enough to take that first step, no matter how like scary or awkward it is, I think you can like start impacting how comfortable people around you are with certain topics, not necessarily just menstruation, but other topics that are considered taboo.
Yeah, and I like Akshika said, I definitely want to commend those people who are taking the first steps to get involved, because it can be difficult to start taking leadership and taking action, regardless of the topic. On top of that, when it's about an issue that generally is uncomfortable, that's a whole different level. And it's so important to recognize that it takes a lot to do that. And we are here to support anyone who is interested in taking those first steps.
Nikki, because we also want to hear you. So, what is your last thoughts?
Sure, yeah. I would say that my last thoughts are just try to take action when you can. Just sort of reiterating what they both said, which it's scary to first initially go ahead and make a step in an issue that's so traditionally stigmatized. But it's important to start taking action if it's something that you are really passionate about. And we also are here to support anybody. So if you'd be interested in starting a chapter, we guide you through the whole process in connecting with your community and starting that open discussion. And even beyond just our company, taking action in your community, even if it's really small scale, can make a really big impact.
I mean, to be very honest, we would love that because our teen chapter is about that because we want to so for what we came up with and our co-founders came up with an idea that they wanted to do something to not only inspire but also to show that there are teens like you and other teens in all around the world and who are doing for something. Like they are not just sitting. So a long time, a lot of people say that, today's youth is not doing something or they are not into good science, but this is where we can show to people that, hey, what, today's youth are more empathetic and more accepting and they want to bring the change. So that is the idea of teen chapter, and we would love to collaborate in any way possible because your idea is very, I mean, it's something that it's really affects and it is very effective. So we would love to collaborate more and more with you people.
Yeah, likewise. And we've looked at some of Teen Chapter's work as well. I think it's obviously we've been very privileged to be given the opportunity to start something like this, but I think it's so great that you have been highlighting all of the young people who are starting to take important steps for a variety of different issues. So I think it would be so cool to work with you as well in the future.
Yeah, we'd love to kind of get in a call and talk about that. And we're also so honored that you had us on here. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for, being with us. We were also honored to have you people. But I think we have a very short time because so we would kind of be wrapping up this meeting. But it was so much good to hear you all, and yeah, it's just inspiring. Like right now I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my god, these people are doing so much thing. Like I also want to do something for this cause. So thank you again for sitting with us, and yeah, wish you all the best for your cause, and I wish that you people just be higher and just achieve all the things that you want.
Thank you so much. That means a
Yeah,
lot.
of course.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So Yeah, I think